Hello and welcome to Village Theater Spotlight, sharing stories, creating connections. I'm Jerry Dixon, Artistic Director, and this week's theme is What I Did for Love. You know, every week I really do look forward to each guest, to each theme, to each conversation, and because I know that it will benefit you, myself, and as we share these stories with these very generous artists. And other guests who are not artists, but so thrilled to have them all. And while this guest is no exception, I found myself surprised by what I actually wound up wanting to share with you and wanting them to share with you from their unique brand of generosity. So many of you are familiar with the indefatigable, the magnanimous, the luminescent Bobbi Kotula. Welcome, Bobbi.
Hi. I have to look that up.
No, you don't. You just have to just be with me tonight.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here too.
Okay, I have a lot of ground to cover with you, so I'm gonna get right to it. You know what I do. I like to have you share your hyphens. So I'm gonna start out with Bobbi Kotula, artist, writer, singer, hyphen.
Gardener, baker, cook, aunt, sister, mentor, teacher, fundraiser, musician. Did I say that? That's more.
Yeah, you can always double up, by the way.
Sweet, good.
And
person who loves to laugh.
And what was that last one?
Person who loves to laugh.
Oh yeah, okay. And make people laugh, I bet too.
Hopefully,
right?
Yeah.
Listen, you have a lot of credits, so I'm not going to go through them all because we also have other things to talk about. But I do want to go through some highlights. Okay. I want to start with this production of Dead Man's Cell Phone at Center Stage.
Yep. John Breaky.
Yep. There you are. And Sleeping Beauty, where did you do this? I think you did this at Seattle Children's Theater.
Yes.
What are you here?
I am a tulip pudding. I am a fairy. And my cohort in the corner there, Condone, she and I developed our own language and developed a motion, something we made up about. You ever hear that comment when you take a little something, you go, how's it go? You must pay the rent. I can't. You must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent. I am my hero. So we did that with the Tale with Craig's, and it was like,
oh, I love that. And it's like the lost language of the cranes, but the musical. Yeah. And then you did at Fifth Avenue. You did Company.
Company. That was interesting piece. Yep. There's my buddies.
Yeah.
Paul and Hugh Panero.
I think after Little Night Music, probably my favorite Stephen Sondheim score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty. Yeah. You'll sorry grateful. That one. Like it's the thing about people you love, and
then can you tell me what is Mrs. Warren's profession? Is it what I think it is?
Yes, it is. It's a woman who made her own way in the 19th century. The only way a woman can make money. And that's her daughter she's hugging as they reunite at one moment in the scene. And this woman who played her, Emily Chisholm, phenomenal actress who I got to play with every night. And she was a godsend. I love working with her. And for someone who's more known for my musical chops, to be hired on by Victor Pappas as Mrs. Warren in Mrs. Warren's profession was quite scary for me. It actually I was hired in August. I was very excited to do it, and then I had to go take care of my mom as she died in December, and then I came back and we started rehearsal that soon afterwards. So it had a super duper impact on me, having a mother-daughter relationship on stage and just lost my mom. But I think theater, so many times the arts and theater has helped me get through things in my own personal life so that I can be a better person and I can be a stronger person and I can understand more about life and be more compassionate. So that was a huge gift for me, that show.
Mm. Yeah, thank you. Follies, another Sondheim.
Yes. That was, and there's an interesting story too. I love that show, and I auditioned for Victor Pappas again, and I was at Show Tunes, now headed by Nathan Young. But it was Martin Chardin was, I think, co-producing at that time, as well as Matt Pearson. And I was hired to sing "I'm Just a Broadway Baby." That one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then it turns out, and this happened to me early in my career, is that another actress couldn't do the "I'm Still Here," that one. There was a scheduling conflict. I don't remember what, but they moved me out of that Broadway Baby song into doing "I'm Still Here" song. Another friend of mine came in, Ann Evans, came in to do the Broadway Baby song. So it was such a huge gift to be able to sing that iconic piece. Yeah.
Isn't it great when your business gives you those beautiful surprises?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so wonderful. Yvonne DiCarlo. That's who I was trying to think of. Who did "I'm Still Here" first on Broadway? And then you did a show that I never saw this show, but I definitely know the composer, Doug Cohen. "No Way to Treat a Lady."
Oh my gosh. What a
and you did this at Village Theater.
I did. It was an incredible journey, especially being able to work off my good buddy Nick DeSantis.
Yes.
Nick, it was a very dark show, and my buddy Jay Muirhead, who was one of the other three women in the show, she brought in an oil of joy and forgiveness or something that we could put on each other before the show, because I got killed 5 different times in that show. 5 different characters.
Yeah.
And Nick always
that Jane Muirhead, you and Nick, that's a whole lot of funny on one stage, I tell you that.
There you go. And then there's also Jessica Scarrett and Dane Stoker.
Wow. Now this I did see you in Beauty and the Beast at Village Theater. One of the most beautiful productions of that show. And I saw that show many times, but man, this Village Theater production was just outstanding.
Thank you. And I was giving John Scott, or Le Fou, a little squirt for his money.
There you go. Keep it clean, Bobby. Keep it clean. Listen, this is something I saw you in a couple of times, and I've also seen you concertize this role as well. Iron Curtain. First of all, the getup alone is just.
Karen Ledger was the designer. Karen Ledger's incredible, and then Doug did the wig for me too. And then Steve Tompkins.
I remember you doing it for a benefit or something that I was involved with, but you said you needed the crop, even though you didn't have the whole costume. You needed that crop. It was everything to you.
Yes, I still have the crop. Ooh.
It was very, very funny to watch you go through that and not be able to do the concert unless you had the crop. Fiddler, another spectacular production of Village Theater that I did not get to see, and I heard you was spectacular. It's legendary.
Well, we get to work off of Eric Jensen. You kind of you just rise to his work. He's amazing.
Yes, he is.
Production. It was a love-filled production. We would light Hanukkah candles backstage for those. There were a lot of people in the show that were of the Jewish faith, and so we honored their faith by doing that every night during Hanukkah. So.
Yeah, and probably one of the best scores ever written. It is jam packed with hit after hit after hit after hit. Sunrise, Sunset, Matchmaker. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Far From the Home I Love. Listen, I bet this next one was a role that when you got it, you might have peed yourself just a little bit. Mrs. Hannigan and Annie.
Oh, Miss Hannigan! I did. I actually fell on the floor when I was told I got it.
Yeah. It's one of those things like you just can't wait to sink your teeth into it, right?
Well, here, can I tell you a little bit about the audition?
Sure,
The
absolutely.
auditioning, you go in there, there's hundreds of very talented people. You don't know. You have to bring to the audition whatever you've got. Now, I brought whatever I had, and I got to the callbacks. That's the second call. But I had a friend of mine who was in the room who called me and said, just let you know, you look too pretty for the role. Got it. So the next time I come in for the callback, I darken out my eyes. I don't put any makeup on. I think I put in some kind of saggy bra thing and a slip and my uncle's old flannel nightgown. My hair was in kind of weird pink curly things and roll down socks and orthopedic shoes. Now I walked into the audition like that, and there were a lot of other young children there and their mothers, because of course a lot of
Boy.
It was like putting a drop of soap in a pan of oil. I stepped into the room, and the mothers took their children away from me. They thought I was some streetwalker weirdo. I go in and audition. I do a good job, and I change out of that, and I go in my regular clothes, and the mothers are looking at me like, wait a minute. Oh. And that's when I found out I was up against Sandra Singler. I don't know if you know her.
I do.
She would have been amazing, but I got it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you got that. I love that you put dream into action and said, I want to get this part, so I'm going to do these.
Take the time to just be that character as long as you can. In that 2 minutes you're in the room.
Well, thank you for letting me walk you down just a few of your credits. Your many credits. Wow, it's great. Now, Bobbi, I know that you and I actually started with a completely different theme, but I'm so glad that through this natural exchange we had when I was talking to you a few days ago, that we both took advantage of something that we've been talking about in this time of all of the chaos and challenges we've been through, that we're learning to pivot. And if we don't, we're going to be in real trouble. And I'm so glad that you and I took time to pivot because you have some wonderful stories to tell us. And I want to embrace your generosity with that. And I just want to open up by asking you this question. What can you say about the power of being adaptable?
You learn, you experience joy, you let go, you forgive, and you open up, you turn around and look at what's in front of you instead of what's behind you. Stop being so mean about what's behind you and go, oh, I maybe shouldn't have done that. Oh, let's go forward. Okay. Is that enough?
Yeah. It's a great opening into the next thing. Of course, we're being given all sorts of advice, either welcome or unwelcome, about how to celebrate this Thanksgiving with or without family, with or without friends. But I also thought it was important for us to talk about, especially since you had this special gift of in normal times, you have this special gift of being that person who opens up their home for the theater orphans, for people who can't get home. You have this special talent of saying just the right thing to get them in the door, to feed them, to give them the beverage, to welcome us all in. You've done it for me. You hosted an amazing get together when we were doing Take Me America, when we were doing all the foods from the different characters of the countries, and but it's a lot of people don't have that talent. They get a little bit nervous about having too many people around, and you just have this gift. But I didn't really want to talk about that. What I really want to talk about is also your strength in being able to be singular and be all right with being by yourself, and all right with being away from that group of people when it's necessary, like in these times. And I just want to know, when did the gift of opening up your heart in your home start? When did that start? And then when did you feel all right about going, but it's okay also to be just by myself?
Well, first of all, my mom was an incredibly gracious human being in that she always welcomes people into our home, always offers somebody a glass of water, always say, are you hungry? Food is a big talker it shows love in our family. So, and I also belonged to a church that was very welcoming. So I always wanted to feed people and make them feel comfortable. My father also would love to cook for people. I remember overnight, the sleepovers used to have. My dad would always make oatmeal and pancakes and making sure everybody had enough food. When he was a kid, he didn't have enough food. So he was happy to share when he got older. I was married at one time, so I felt like I was always wanting to be married to somebody. It was like a dream of mine, and then that fell apart. And it took that to help me realize that I'm actually alone, and we're all alone on this earth.
Mm.
How do we find a way to be comfortable being alone? My solution and my discovery was through the marriage. It was very abusive, and so there was emotionally abusive, not physically. I remember right after not such a mess, but after feeling so little and belittled and tiny inside, I was taking the 6 bus down to downtown Seattle, and I was just sort of praying and going, I feel like my health is gone. My health was going. I was getting IBS, Wilson's thyroid syndrome. My money is going. We were selling things on garage sales just to make rent. All I have is my soul. And I felt like this little tiny spider web string going up to God. I said, well, that's the only thing I have to hold on to. Okay. What do I do now? Mm. And so day by day, slowly, I just found coming back to myself, seeing who I was, becoming strong enough to separate myself from the person I was married to. And the theater gave me joy. So I was starting to audition again. And I felt like telling other people's stories is great because I feel more comfortable in an environment of the theater. Mm-hmm. Then I go home to the awful marriage and it's very uncomfortable. Once I divorced, I ended up going just towards joy, and which was theater and family and friends. I found people that saw me and said, "You're pretty good. You're fun." I went, "I am." I remember. Oh my God! I remember after I'd already divorced, but I was now in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I had done summer theater there, and then stayed on and took care of an artist's home. They would John McPherson and his wife Joy would go down to I believe it was Vegas or Arizona. They would go off and snowbird in the South, and I took care of their home in Coeur d'Alene. Beautiful glass artist. And I remember this music playing, and I started dancing around. I was dusting the glass art, and I was dancing around and went, "Oh, I haven't done this in a long time. I haven't been happy. Oh, this is what happy feels like. Oh, I forgot what happy felt like." And that Christmas, my Uncle Frank sent me a Christmas card and said, "Glad to have you back."
Oh, wow.
I didn't even know I was gone. I was losing weight. I was doing a lot of running. I was doing a lot of physical stuff. I was losing weight because I wasn't eating right. My body wasn't working right. So I was fairly thin. So I actually got an ingenue role. In Somerset, I got an ingenue role when I was skinny in my 30s. I don't usually get ingenue roles. So did that answer your question?
It more than answers my question, and I want to remind our audience of this type of generosity when I thank you for sharing your stories, Bobbi, and I know there are many more, and I want to encourage that, but I also want you to take care of yourself. So if there's something you'd rather talk about with me when we see each other with cocoa and cake, we can do that as well. But as long as you're willing to share, it is I think it is so healing for others to hear these stories. So I really, really do appreciate it. Bobbi. I think a lot of people they don't know all of your story. They know we talk about the mythology. They know the mythology of us, like, oh, there's Bobbi, the happy-go-lucky, the person with open arms, the warm-hearted, the always smiling, always uplifting, and sometimes they don't know how you got there. And I feel so fortunate that you and I share some of our life journey together. I really do feel we becoming part of each other's story, which I love. I know part of that healing is self-expression and of course performing and acting and singing and writing. And there's a song that you shared with me that I feel in a way sort of encapsulates like the chapters in your relationship that you had to push through. Red Letter Love Song. Yeah. And I want to play a beginning snippet of that and run a lyric underneath it, because I think it kind of gives a peek in to another part of you that was dealing with it at the time, more contemporaneous than like after the end of it. Our producer Kevin will. Yes, I love that. Do we have that, Kevin? Kevin's our producer.
Red letter love, wanting to bloom. Petals on pillows die a fairy tale doom. Try not to please, pull myself off my knees. Push that prince off his horse, dry his tears from my sleeves. And I'll ride off this scene, this red letter love scene. Just need a prescription.
Now, wow. When you hear those lyrics and you're convinced that you know the person who lived those lyrics, you can't possibly, because it's just one lyric and one song. But can you let us know who that person was in the beginning of that song? Because I do feel like it's charting pieces of your life. Yeah. Can you explain that to us? Where you were then?
That was broken. Fetal position on the floor, weeping, betrayal, hurt, lost. What happened? How do I deserve this? What did I do to deserve this? How can anybody do that to me? I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's like the planes flying into the Twin Towers. What? That's impossible. What? So I was broken. But the one thing that kept me going, several things kept me going. Love of my family, friends that started to come around to me that saw me. And even with my brokenness, they still liked me. And the theater. The theater was something that, learning from those stories, learning about love, learning about acceptance, learning that there's pain, I went, oh, I could play a part like this now. A broken woman, a betrayed woman. I could fill that role easy now. I know what the spaces between the lines are about now.
And Bobbi, I know it's hard to chart this when it's happening to you, but guess what? You got off the floor, didn't you?
I did. Because the last verse.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to play another sample from the same recording, because it spoke to me. This song really spoke to me, because it really is such a personal illustration of growth through pain. So cue it up, Kevin. Thank you.
Without your red letter love song, just need a prescription, a little red wine, and antidepressants and quality time. Get me back on that horse, give me one more try to prove to myself I can make it this time. Without your red letter love, without your red letter love song, without your red letter love, without your red letter love song.
I need to clarify one thing. Music and lyrics are not by me. They're inspired by me. They were written by Marilyn Hagen-Smith.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. I knew you had some part of it, and I might have slipped my memory, but I think it was part of your journal.
Yes.
Was that where this came from?
I keep journals. Yeah, part of my journal.
Yeah.
And my good buddy Mo Manning said to me, "I got a friend you got to meet." And I met her in a bar, and we ended up in Montana. I think it was Montana. And I handed it to her. I gave her my heart in this book, and she read it over and created this. There's another piece that she wrote called Darkest Night that's on my CD. Oh, that one's about the shards that we throw at each other and how the darkest night can scare us or repair us, start burning bright like the angels, and see we can do much more, and you deserve much more. She's a gorgeous writer.
That's beautiful. Wow, she's talented. And what I like about just what you just sang and the piece of Red Letter Love Song, that they're both, it feels like at the other side of trauma, not the beginning part, not the on the floor part, but that thing of like, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to make it out of this.
Yep. Doesn't matter how many times you fall down. It matters how many times you get up.
You make that sound easy. I know it's not. Come on.
No, sometimes you just gotta. My sister Karen, she always says, "Make some brownies, you'll feel better," and it's work.
It's a step. You got to do something, right? You have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told you I love me a quote or two. And I was picking some for you to speak out loud, and I thought, you know what, I don't want to do that this time. I'm gonna send you a bunch and then have you pick some too. Okay. So I had you pick a handful, like maybe a couple from the batch I sent you, and then you come up with your own. So you want to share those? I don't know which ones you picked. I don't know which ones you offered. And so let's pick them up. Let's show them, and then you can explain why. You can read the quotes and then tell me why you chose them. Go ahead and read that.
Silence the angry man with love. Silence the ill-natured man with kindness. Silence the miser with generosity. Silence the liar with truth. I love it. Thanks, Boo.
Yeah. You want to explain that, or you want to do all of them and then explain? Or do you want to explain why you like that one so much?
That one takes a lot of guts to do, because I'm learning about forgiveness. And I'm learning that you can't just yell at somebody if they're telling a lie. I think about half the country right now is believing one thing and half the country is believing another. So you have to start with forgiveness first, I think. Forgiveness first, so you can create a place where you can stand on the same ground and look at each other as human beings and not look at each other like enemies.
I love that you just said that it takes a lot of guts to forgive. Yeah.
It does.
Wow.
It's not weak. And it's not letting a friend of mine said, one of the friends who stayed here with me, that you have to forgive the person that is hurting you the most. They said, but they did all this wrong. I said, I know. But that's not letting them off the hook. It's getting their hook out of you.
Oh, okay. All right. I knew you were going to drop
Right.
some knowledge on us today. Nice.
Oh,
Wow. I love that. You want to share another quote with us?
yes, please. Go ahead, Kevin. What's next? All things be ready if our minds be so. Thank you, Mr. Shakespeare. This one makes total sense. You feel like you've gotten 3 shows, you have 2 more to go, and you just because you get exhausted doing shows.
Mm-hmm.
We all get exhausted. And if you keep telling yourself, I'm too tired, you're going to be tired. But if you say, hey, I'm taking one step in front of the other, let's just say to our minds, let's do it. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. We'll be okay.
I remember a good friend telling me to change my when you're a 5-show weekend, instead of saying, "Oh, we have to do 5 shows," he said, "No, you get to do 5 shows. It's an opportunity." I love that. And that mindset, you got to practice it though. You got to keep going. You got to say it every single day.
I'm so sorry.
No, I was
phrase that who was it? Leslie? I think Leslie told me this. She said, "Imagine that this is somebody's in the audience. This is the first show they've ever seen, and imagine another person in the audience. This is the last show they'll ever see."
No, yeah. Ooh, I got chills hearing that one. Yeah. Share another. I'm liking this.
Another quote: "If anything is worth doing, do it with all your heart." Yeah. The Sound of Music. That was an inspirational piece for me. I had a neighbor who went all out on birthday parties. He had a huge screen that he would pull down in the basement, and all the kids would be there, and he'd show Sound of Music, I got to see these as many times as I wanted. And there's a song in there that struck me when I listened to it in this big screen in the basement of my neighbor's house. Oh, gosh, and how's it go? Help me out, Jerry. A dream that will live, all the life you can give. Every
You know it.
day of your life, for as long as you live. Climb every mountain. You got to do every mountain that's going. I'm going to be doing Dolly in Hello Dolly.
I love our conversation about this, because we were saying that it's not enough to dream it. You've got to work the dream every day. Every day, you got to work that dream.
Yep, and the heart has to be ready. The brokenness that you've had in the past, it mends, and that scar tissue makes that heart strong. It makes that heart remember the pain, so that you will never take it for granted again, and that you will see someone else in that pain and go, I understand.
Oof. Give us one more.
Oh, one more quote. Here we go.
Yeah.
A woman is like a tea bag. Only in hot water do you realize how strong she is. I remember the moment.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
What?
I love this quote. That's amazing.
Is that the first time you heard it?
Yes. Oh. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, because there was a lioness that comes out in me. If there's an injustice happening, and some of my friends have seen it. Well, they've seen me angry, which doesn't always mean that it's an injustice. It means I'm angry. But if I'm trying to temper that, thank you, Elizabeth and Mark, if you're watching. They were my old roommates when I lived with friends, and they've seen me at my worst and best. But the lioness that comes out in me, if I'm put in hot water, if I'm made to be a strong tea bag at that moment, I will move mountains. Oh God in heaven. I do remember a moment when I was in a borrowed car, my friend Mark's car. My car had been totaled or something. I forget now. I don't know. I was in this car, and another fella hit me. And I got out of my car. We were on Denny Way. Denny Way was like a 4-lane major thoroughfare in downtown Seattle. I got out, and this gentleman had no license. He had no insurance. He's from a totally different country. I said, "You wait there. We're not moving." And people started honking their horn and saying they're moving. I said, "I am not moving until I get this man's information." You hear me? There's a UPS truck driver's like, I got to make my time. And he actually, he takes one of those median strips. He goes over the median strip to bypass this crazy woman. After a while, I've put up with enough. I'm not going to put up with any crap anymore. It's not worth it. But I have to still forgive.
Bobbi, thank you for those things. Thank you for giving me those quotes. You definitely given me so much more than that. I want to share a couple of things, and then I want to turn that around. When I arrived in my position at Village Theater, I came from New York with a pretty severe injury, and you were quite supportive is not really the word. Nurturing is the word, and I thank you for that. That was it was right on time. And then you shared something that happened with you in an automobile, and believe it or not, because you shared that with me, I got off the road when something was happening to me. Can you share yours, and then I'll share what happened to me?
I have a interesting situation where I sometimes have digestive issues. I passed out. It has to do with the shape of my coccyx bone, and it overstimulates my nervous system, and I pass out. Normally, I can tell when it's coming, and I get down on the ground, and I'm fine. Normally, I'm in the bathroom. However, I was just finished doing As You Like It over in Seattle, and I was driving home on a very hot evening in my car, feeling very odd, not well. Didn't know what it was. Overheated, felt weird. I said, what am I doing? Having a heart attack? No. Just stop being dramatic. Get home. I open the windows, get more fresh air, and I'm on the major thoroughfare again, a 4 or 5 lane highway. Me and my big highways. Then I'm in the passing lane, but we're going maybe 5 miles an hour because it was construction. Next thing I know, guy poking me, ma'am. I just passed out while driving on a highway in my car. I pull over, and I'm safe. The gentleman next to me I could tell he had a patch on his shoulder. Alex was his name, not Alexa. Don't wake up my Alexa. So I'm going to name my dog or cat Alex because he saved me. He called the 911, and that the angels had to be out helping me because driving on a 5-lane highway on the speeding zone at fast pace, and I didn't hit anyone. No one hit me. I just came to a slow stop.
It's absolutely scary, and now I know firsthand. And this is why sharing stories is so amazing, because it can save. And you relay that story to me, and I know that we have a tendency to get embarrassed by health issues, and so sometimes we don't share. And I'm going to tell you, and I've explained this to you, that I was on a highway in Seattle on the way to Everett for a meeting for Village Theater, and I started to feel very strange, and my voice was telling me, just push through. And then I heard your voice go, absolutely do not push through this. You heard Bobbi's story. Bobbi wants you to get off of this highway. And I did. I got off that highway. I called DT and said, I can't drive my car right now. And so I thank you for that. That was, it was a medication thing. But the thing is that I didn't push through because I heard your story about not pushing through. Because sometimes you shouldn't push through. Sometimes you should listen to that voice and go, stop the car, pull over. So thank you, Bobbi.
Can I say one more thing about that moment? Because
absolutely.
I get afraid of death. I think we all are. But I think about it more often maybe than others. Maybe because my uncle and my grandfather were undertakers. So when we go visit them, there'd be dead people in the house. So I knew death was around us. And at that moment, when I realized that I wasn't going to die at that moment, I went, oh, so it's not my time. So when it's my time, it'll be my time. And I just stop worrying about it. Yeah. Okay, that's it.
It's still this. I just wanted to let you know that your stories are a gift, and your nurturing is a gift, and how you take care. And then one of the most recent is whether you're a psychic or an alchemist or a witch or all the above, you knew I needed to hear from you during the George Floyd tragedy and the social unrest, and you reached out to me, and just it was really healing to hear your voice, and it was great. So I thank you for that. Here's what I want to. The reason why I piled on what you gave to me is what I want to ask you, because you do have a gift for that. Who does that for Bobbi? Because you're so good at it and so natural at it for others. Who does it for you?
I think my sister Lorraine. She's part of my heart. I have two sisters, and we're becoming very close during this pandemic because we meet every month now on Zoom. But my sister Lorraine and I are only 2 years apart, and she gets me and I get her. I have people that are close to me here. I know my coworkers Megan and Janelle are very empathic, so they can usually sense things. They're also sort of local, but my sister Lorraine, I think, is the one who we can feel each other's pain. We call each other, like, if something is that, I can tell something's wrong and I'll call her, what's going on? And then beans are spilled. But yeah, I tend to go, I live alone and I'm happy living alone, but I do talk to God a lot. So he's kind of my buddy. My buddy.
You know, we were talking about the conversations, the spiritual conversations, and you said something really interesting to me about because we were talking about dreaming, and we were talking about the types of people that we are not, the types of people who somebody can walk up to and go, "Hey, what's your 5-year plan?" And they can rattle off what they want to be doing in the next 5 years. And you and I agree that we are not those people, right?
No.
And you identify that for me, because I wasn't like, because sometimes I sort of get down on myself for not being able to like really chart it like that. I know kind of how I want to be. But the thing that you said to me that was just like a lightning bolt, you said, if I plan out every inch of my life, there's no room for God. Explain that. Like, I think I know what you meant by that, but explain what you meant for that for us.
I think of all these plans I have for myself, and then God goes, "Well, if you wanna, but I got something a little better for you." Just surprises. I like being surprised by God. The surprise. Here's a good surprise. So over a year ago, you called me. I called you to talk to you about a donor situation, and then you said, "Sure, come on in. We'll talk about this." And then in the middle of the meeting, we started chatting, and you said, "Oh, come on my other meeting. I want you to meet these other staff members who are talking about the same thing." The Artistic Director and Brandon Ivey, your Associate Artistic Director. And they started talking about Hello Dolly, and I said, "Yeah, I heard this might be in the season, and we're thinking about, we'd like you to play her." Wait, what? And then my mouth poured out with so many expletives.
Truly a sailor's mouth, Vesuviously. And you know what's bad about that, Bobbi? I hate surprises, and I did that to you. But I really enjoy doing that to you.
And you still haven't showed me that video yet either. But that was like God going, "Here you go."
Oh man.
So those kind of, when I start to worry about things, I just go, "Oh God, you've got this, right?"
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. You know, though, I do understand though that some gifts are double-edged, and they can, I think anybody who's so deeply empathic like you are has to sometimes feel it as a burden sometimes too, not just a gift.
Sometimes I get up and I just feel a darkness, and I have to weep, and I feel like I'm praying for the world. I don't know what I'm doing. I am just in training. In training, just weeping. And I think part of it too is because this pandemic has not affected me in a health way right now, and it's not affecting me in an emotional way, in the sense of I'm happy being alone, and I have a lot of friends to support. But if I wake up and feel that darkness and feel that, I go, oh, this is what other people are feeling. And so I feel like God's telling me, hold on to that, so you have more empathy and more compassion for people who are really struggling. I mean, so many of our elders in retirement communities are isolated right now.
Yeah.
So I try to call them, and I sing to them, and I talk to them, and Zoom with them if I can. Hi there. Hi, Lynn.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I think is important that sometimes I think that is reminding me to know what else is happening in the world. I can be happy in my world, but if I can feel something else, it's like somebody else is going through this. I need to understand it.
Yeah, and I know it cost you something, but I probably can speak for you in saying that you think it's worth it. What that empathy cost?
It hurts sometimes, but I have to consider it a gift, and just it connects me more to ask questions. Why do I have this gift? What is it? Why am I here with this? It hurts. Sometimes I read things or I watch the news, and I just stop. That's when I start baking brownies again.
Yes, and delicious Christmas cookies. Thank you very much.
Yes, congratulations.
Those, yes, you're quite multi-talented. So listen, I want to take a bit of this our last few minutes to talk about anything that you haven't expressed. Yeah, what's on your mind that you haven't expressed, or in your heart?
You know what? I think I expressed so much.
You have. You've been amazingly generous, Bobbi. I just want to make sure that because of my selfishness of wanting you to give us these gifts that you have, I haven't missed anything that you want to talk about.
Oh. All my friends, if you need me, call me. I might answer.
Oh, I love that you said you might answer.
Yeah,
you kept that open for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I read a poem? It's one of my favorites that keeps me. When my friend Nancy sent this to me when my mama died.
Please do.
It's by Rilke. God speaks to each of us as he makes us, then walks with us silently out of the night. These are the words we dimly hear. You send out beyond your recall. Go to the limits of your longing. Embody me. Flare up like a flame and make big shadows that I can move in. Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final. Don't let yourself lose me. Nearby is the country they call life. You'll know it by its seriousness. Give me your hand. That's what I like.
Oh, wow. I like no feeling is final. Is that what that? Wow.
No feeling is final. Just keep going. Make the brownies.
Yes. Make those damn brownies. Bobbi, can you, brownies and rest and all that, can you share us? I know you also have a sort of more of a formal generosity with the organizations that you support or that you would want us to support. And I want you to spend some time sharing those, because I know that they're important to you.
There are many things I give to, but I wanted to say Village Theater is an important place that I give to, and we all usually know about it. It's important to keep us going during this time that there's no real revenue coming in, too, and to keep the little tiny engine going so we can come back in full force. I just keep waiting for that first downbeat of that first musical we do. The joy in people's cells will just almost explode with goodness. People will be healed. I also feel, again, food's very important to me, and I think it's important to think about people around us. So I like to give to the Issaquah Food Bank. And I also purchase, I don't like going out to grocery stores anymore because of the safety issue. And I found a company called Imperfect Foods. imperfectfoods.com. It is a company that decided there was so much food waste in America. We actually dump food because they may be a little imperfect. A little nick in that almond. So there is a company that delivers food to me every week, and I buy my food. It's good food. It's just delivered to me every week. And the more I can save on buying Imperfect Foods, and the more I can give to Issaquah Food Bank, and the more brownies I can. So I think feeding people is important, not just their souls, and I can hopefully do that when I do Dolly and Hello Dolly, but also feed their bodies and keep people that normal. I should have, when I was divorcing, I should have gone to food stamps. I didn't know how to do it, so I just, on the kindness of my friends, I stayed in their basements and survived. I think it's important to help people around us. So there we go.
Tell us more.
More?
Yeah, because I know that you I know you're an avid reader. I know it's because I think these organizations are so important, but it's also important to feed our minds too. And I know that that I bet you have a book or two that you love us to grab onto.
Well, the new Jim Crow, that's a hard one to get through, and I'm still trying to get through it. That's important. I would I also really love Norman Lear's book. Even this I get to experience. That was fascinating. Norman Lear, the guy who producer and writer All in the Family.
All in the Family, yeah. The Jeffersons.
Cold Turkey. And he's still
and a mentor to the fellows who created South Park.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yep. That's a good book. I'm reading Oliver Sacks' Musicophilia right now. It's a little academic, but it is mind-blowing to hear about how the brain works and how hearing works and how musicians who have had head injuries and how it alters their singing. But I'm fascinated by how music is in certain parts of the brain and speech is another part of the brain. And there's videos of people like ballerinas, prima ballerinas, who are now in a retirement facility with Alzheimer's, and there's no responsiveness, but you put the music of Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake in their ears, and they begin to open up and do the entire Swan Lake in their wheelchair. So music is an amazing part of our brains. It also speaks to my soul. There's times when I have music that I listen to, and it makes me go to a place of peace and enjoyment. Every morning I sing to Joe Biden. Not to get too political, but I sing with Sarah Bareilles' Brave. I want to see you be brave. It's just an important song to me. Being brave is important. It's getting up, going through the dark, going towards the light.
Get off that floor. Get out of the fetal position. Get off the floor. Yeah. I also think what you said about the books you're reading. Sometimes we do pick up a difficult read, and I think one of my techniques has been to do the difficult read and have a companion piece that you pick up, and you put that difficult book down for a second and read something something delightfully funny or satirical, so that you can kind of balance it.
Okay, that's a good idea. So I can get through a few pages of Pro and then go.
Yes.
Jerry Herman's autobiography is fantastic.
Oh, see,
Journey with Dolly.
I knew you had stuff in you.
And then Jerome Robbins biography and his journey with how he formed and how he made Hello Dolly work. How they
that's awesome.
How they put before the parade passes by. It wasn't in the show when it was.
And then there's some wonderful chapters in Pearl Bailey's autobiography about Hello Dolly as well. Bobbi, before I let you go, I would like you to, if you can reach back, maybe it's not even that far back. Can you give us your most vivid Thanksgiving memory?
Oh, yeah. I was at my buddy Judy and Milton's house, and it was I was house sitting for her, and I think she had 8 cats at the time, And we had a gang of people there. Oh, friends, very funny people. And when you're in a group of funny people and kind people, you gotta have that combination, funny and kind, because we would start to rattle off jokes back, just one-liners. Boom, 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 boom. And then there'd be a break. And somebody said, how come we stop shooting off one-liners? Somebody said, because you're just reloading. So that was kind of fun. But it was a lot of food, and it was a lot of company, and it was a lot of laughter, and a lot of furry kittens.
A lot of fur, as opposed to not furry kittens? Are there a lot of hairless kittens around Seattle or something?
There. Wait, no, there were 8 cats. I was house sitting.
I see. You were just saying kittens in general, not that the thing about them was they were furry. It's just like there were lots of cats.
Just lots of cats. I love animals. I don't have a schedule that allows them, but
I would get bogged down in the details. If you say furry kittens, I'm like picturing non-furry kittens.
Yeah, those are lovable.
They are. They have mommies and daddies too. Listen, I thank you so much for this time together. It is vitally important for me, for our viewers to know that that family is important and singularity is just as important. We need to be able to be in ourselves and of ourselves, just as much as we need to be around people and with people. And anybody who can sort of give us any sort of advice of strength and encouragement when we are by ourselves, I just be thrilled to talk to them. And so you're one of those people. And so we'll do this again about another subject. And I'm sure with all the underbelly of it will always be nurturing and healing and empowering through and love and enlightenment and all those things that you are and that you walk around being. So I really, really appreciate it and hope you have a lovely evening and a wonderful, wonderful holiday. And I will see you on the other side of the holiday.
Yay. Bye.
Thank you, Bobbi. Thank you so much. Wow. Yeah. Wow. That was, Bobbi really just touches my heart. Thank you for joining us, for sharing, and I hope connecting. Again, thank you for our producer, Kevin Wortman, who was doing lots of really magical tricks today, and everyone at Village Theater, including the incredible artistic team. Next week, we will return to the regular date and time, which is Wednesday, December 2nd, 6:30 Pacific Daylight Time, for Corner of the Sky with Faith Russell and Daniela Ferdico. What can we learn about ourselves from these mothers of neurodiverse sons? Please stay tuned for that special episode returning next week, December 2nd, 6:30. See you then.